feel like I'm gonna get yelled at today. I'm gonna I'm gonna do what I do, which is talk about entertainment news, and then I guess the internet's gonna do what the internet does, and either decide that they're okay with that or not. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy. It is Monday, March 28th, the day after Oscar Sunday, which is typically a very lackluster day, but not this Monday. This Monday is a day in which we have an internet divided. It's interesting. It's interesting that that the internet is so divided. That's so strange for the internet. I feel like everybody's always on the same page over there. How weird that different people on the internet have different thoughts about a public display of, some might call love, some might call abuse. And it just completely depends on who you're asking. So yeah, this is interesting. It's just fucking interesting. If you guys want my whole thoughts on the Oscars, last night, Dorina and I on the World Girls broke down everything to do with the Oscars. We talked about the winners, the losers, what they didn't show on TV. We talked about the fashion. Of course, we did talk about the Will Smith, Chris Rock slap heard round the world. We talked about a lot, and I gushed over Coda because I love that movie, and I was really, really happy for Troy. We gushed over a lot of different moments, and people winning and making history. So if you want my full Oscar thoughts, which this stream is not that today, then check out the World Girls last night. Today, we are talking about what's going on in the world of entertainment news, what's trending. And two of the things I wanted to talk about were, yes, the internet's reaction to Will Smith and Chris Rock. Because I have some, it's been actually kind of wild seeing who people think should be allowed to speak about this and who people think shouldn't be allowed to speak about this. And then we've also got Kim Kardashian, who kind of apologized for telling people to get up and work, but kind of not. She did, I'm sorry if. I'm sorry, but. Blah. Are we done with those yet? I guess not. All right. Let's get into it. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Send in your Streamlabs, send in your super chats, send in your questions, comments, concerns, send in the things you want us to talk about. It's going to be a quick show today because after this, I am doing a podcast with Dorina Ariano. We're doing on being in your 30s. And we took questions from the internet and from you guys. We're going to be answering those because Steph is still in Europe. So we thought it was a good time to talk about being in your 30s because both she and I are in our 30s. I'm entered, she's exiting, and we're taking questions from the younglings and from the people our age too. So we'll talk about that. That's Bitch Out of Water. It's the World Girls podcast. If you want to listen to it live, you got to be a patron, patreon.com/the World Girls. That will be at 3. But for today, I already told you guys what we're talking about. Let's go in the Streamlabs. Let's start with you. Let's see how you're feeling after that monumental event. And then I'll give you guys my thoughts on how the internet is handling it and what I find to be fascinating. So a couple days ago, shout out to Christian Hardesty, who sent in some big love. Thank you, Christian, because nobody's doing that these days. He said, hey, Rox, just feel a little down after a particular episode of Boy Meets World. That always makes me cry. Oh, I love that show. But I know those episodes. But the next few days will probably pick me up. Hope you're having a good Friday. I was having a good Friday. Thank you. And a good weekend. Thanks, friend. Glenn wishes me a good Monday. He wishes love to my family. I saw Grammy and Papa twice this weekend. He says, thanks for everybody choosing to battle. And he gives us a whenever, however, also a winner chicken dinner. And he says, remember to say to ourselves, we're kind, we're caring, we're fully unique and good people, worthy, humane, cozy fire, all of that, vulnerable. Glenn, you the best. Thanks for always sending in support. Much love to you, my dear. Something in the Streamlabs says, I honestly don't think it was a big deal. There's so many people just joking all the time. So it was nice that someone was serious for a change. What are you talking about? Something. You think You think that Chris Rock was saying it seriously, not as a joke? Or what are you talking about? Let me know. Glenn Caesar says, if you choose to, I hope you see, feel, and perceive yellow colored sparkles, green colored sparkles, and happiness, joy, and healing whirling around you. Let's give it a whirl. As you breathe in, more love, and breathe out, stress and yucky energy with each exhale. Thanks, Glenn. I will do my very best, and so will all of the people. All the people. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Super chat in. Let's talk about this slap. This is what I'm seeing, and you guys tell me if you're seeing this. It's an interesting. Okay, actually, let me rewind. Typically, as you guys know, when things happen in a certain community, I look to the voices of that community to kind of set the bar. So, for example, when things happen in the Jewish community, I look to my fellow Jews and myself to figure out what we think about what went down. If things happen in the Asian community, I look to my Asian friends to tell me how are they feeling about things and kind of set the bar and the tone. When things happen in the Black community, we look towards our Black friends to tell us, what do you think about this? And how do we set the bar and the tone? This is an interesting incident because at the Oscars, a Black man slapped another Black man in the face for one of the Black men making a joke at a Black woman's expense. And so this is absolutely about the Black community and making sure that we look towards the Black community for how they feel about what went down and seeing people's reaction in the Black community. There's a lot of other communities at play here, though. There's the poly community because there were jokes at Will and Jada's expense because they're poly. And I was curious what my poly friends thought about that. Talked to Dee last night about that. There's the celebrity culture world, which is that this was the Oscars and these are a group of actors. So what do we think about this as a show? What do we think about this as an award ceremony? What do we think about this incident taking place on stage? And so there's a lot of people who have opinions on this. Actually, I think everybody has an opinion on what happened last night. And it's a little challenging for me to know what I'm allowed to say, what I'm not allowed to say, because I certainly have opinions. But those opinions seem to be, people don't really want to hear them on Twitter right now. And or some people do, and all that's fine. So it is a strange situation to talk about. And so I was more curious what other people thought about it. And I think that there's a really strange thing going on right now, which is that, and not strange as in bad, strange as in something that I wasn't necessarily expecting because I am a white woman. I look to a lot of the Black women that I follow, or Black women that are my friends, and saw what they were tweeting. And for the most part, and I wonder if you guys saw this, Tiffany Haddish, who spoke out, a lot of Black women seem to share the opinion of what Tiffany Haddish shared, which was that she thought this was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. A man sticking up for his wife, which a lot of people say, and this is fact, that the way that Black women are disrespected is unmatched. And so it was nice to see somebody sticking up for a Black woman, no matter what sticking up for her actually looked like. I'll give you guys her actual quote because Tiffany Haddish said, let's see. When I saw a Black man stand up for his wife, that meant so much to me. As a woman who's been unprotected, for someone to say, keep my wife's name out of your mouth, leave my wife alone, that's what your husband is supposed to do, right? Protect you. That meant the world to me. And maybe the world might not like how it went down, but for me, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen because it made me believe that there are still men out there that love and care about their women, their wives. So that is what Tiffany Haddish said. Now, I think there's a lot of nuance here, and the internet does not love nuance, but there are definitely ways to stand up for somebody that don't involve hitting somebody. A suggestion that I saw from somebody on the internet that I thought would have been really great is that imagine had Will Smith not done that, and then he won his Oscar, and then he went on stage and said, just so you guys know, my wife struggles with a disease called alopecia, and a lot of women and a lot of Black women are afflicted with this disease, and it's really fucking horrible and awful, and to poke fun at that is not funny, it's not kind, and I won't stand for it, so I think that was a disrespectful joke. Imagine the amount of people who would have listened to him and wanted to hear what he had to say, and he could have stood up for his wife in that way. He could have spoken to Chris after the show or even gotten in an altercation after the show. I'm not suggesting that's what he did, but by him slapping Chris Rock in the middle of the show, it took away from not only other winners, but other Black winners too. And so, I'm not listening to Questlove. I had to go back and rewatch, which I doubt a lot of people did. And that's not like a fucking pat on my back. I'm just saying I wanted to hear what he had to say. But it just was, I think Chris Rock should not have told that joke. He should not have made fun of Jada in that way. I thought it wasn't funny, and that's why I think he shouldn't have told it. I thought it crossed the line, and I believe he knows that Jada has alopecia. There's a question on the internet whether he does or doesn't. I believe he does. But regardless, comedians make bad jokes all the time. It's not nice to poke fun of somebody's disease. It's not funny to poke fun of somebody's disease. And so it just was, even if she didn't have alopecia, I didn't think the joke was funny. So that was a bummer. But then for the people who are saying that Chris Rock is 100% in the wrong and Will Smith is 100% in the right, are we just okay with anybody getting on stage and hitting somebody based on a joke they tell? And then I saw my friend Mark Andreyko tweeted out something along the lines of, so is it fine if the next time Dave Chappelle's on stage, a trans person gets up and slaps him because of something he said? It just is. It's such a thin line. It's such a tough thing to decipher. So I'm curious what you guys think. Would love to know what you guys think. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. And I might not be the right person to talk about this, but I am somebody who watched an award show and talks about award shows. And this happened at the award show. And this is what I do for a living. So I think I'm able to speak about what took place. In the Streamlabs, Jake Yacovetta said, I stopped engaging in conversations about the slap because everyone was so damn adamant about their position being the only correct one. Mark Andreyko was going off in the comments on my tweet, LOL. Yeah, it was a tough thing to, and I don't think everybody needs to have an opinion on everything, but for everybody out there who's like, everybody stop having an opinion on this. We all just watched a live award show where two of the biggest stars on the planet got in a physical altercation, and we're supposed to just be like, whatever, nothing to do with us. They did it live on TV. It's not in somebody's home. It's not, I think it makes sense that people have opinions on this. I think it makes sense that any of you guys, Words in a Handle, Matt Link, Brittany Parker, Joseph Ashley, Sky the Boss, Mark Merck, Jake Yacovetta, Ryan Payne, Murderanta, John Bainbridge, Zeno Hour, Mega Movie Z, Redford Reddington, Joseph Ashley, DK, AZ, Haunted Autumn, any of you guys have an opinion on this because you watched one man get up after a joke at his wife's expense, his wife rolling her eyes, clearly upset, and we watched him get up, walk up the stage, and slap somebody in the face, and then scream, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. So, of course, we have an opinion on it. We're human beings, and we watch something, we have an opinion. Doesn't mean our opinion is more important than anybody else's opinion. I do want to hear from a woman of color, Brittany Parker, who's saying the situation is not black and white in the slightest. And the fact that people can't see that is a problem. Brittany also earlier said that I know the joke that Yaya made about Yaya being my baby daddy, but in all seriousness, I know I joke about that, but in all seriousness, the reason I started to love him is because of his Emmy speech in which he voiced reverence and respect for the Black women in his life. That means the world to me as a Black woman. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to show respect. And some people believe Will Smith slapping Chris Rock in the face was a sign of respect. I don't fully get that. And maybe I don't fully get that because I'm white. But I don't fully get it. And that's just the truth. I also don't think this was the largest deal in the world. I think it's a big deal, but it's so hard when the entire internet goes to talking about this and then we see what's going on around the world and it's like we're creating our own problems. We're causing our own problems. We're having award shows that we are telling jokes at and then getting in physical altercations. And there are other countries that people are in bunkers and they're not sleeping. And I know it's not always a comparison game, but like we did this one to ourselves. It's fucking bizarre. Really strange. Get in your Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, super chat in. Would love to know what you guys feel in the Streamlabs. Atlas says, hi, Roxy. Do you think that Chris Rock would have made the same joke if it had been Meryl Streep and she had, let's say, cancer and a shaved head? It's a great question. I don't know. I think Chris Rock is a hysterical comedian typically. I think he usually knows the line very well. I think this was not the line. And I don't know. I don't know how close he is with Jada. I don't know how close he is with Meryl. I I genuinely don't know. I would I would think not. But if you had asked me 2 days ago, would Chris Rock have made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith alopecia? I would have said no. So I I don't know. And I don't know that he knows she had alopecia. I think he did, but I don't know that. Good question though, Atlas. Would love people's thoughts. Richard said in the Streamlabs, I am a white man, but as someone who has experienced domestic abuse, Will's excuse of love makes you do crazy things really hurt. Yeah, I did not like that line either. This isn't a domestic situation, but so many abusers use that as an excuse, and they will use this to justify just sad. It was weird how much he did then went on to do a speech about love and family, and it was very odd. It was certainly odd. I don't think it's a moment we'll ever forget. Do you think he's going to be invited back to the Oscars next year? And do you think he'll be asked to present Best Actress like typically happens? I'm not sure. There's some people out there who still say that this was scripted, which I feel like there's no way because he kept saying fucking and there's just no way. But the Oscars do lack ratings, so you don't know. Carl says Will should have gave Chris a chance to apologize. Maybe. Will Smith did apologize to the Academy in his speech. Kind of. I wonder what the phone call or the conversation with Chris and Will was. I read online that it seemed like they made up afterwards. I don't know if that's true or not. And maybe we'll know one day, and maybe we won't. There's certainly going to be some jokes. I feel like next year we're going to start the show and it's going to be like, here's what we learned last year. We don't talk about Bruno, no, and we don't talk about Jada Pinkett Smith. Period. Oh boy. Oh boy. Wow. And it's crazy how many people still, like, this is still the number one trending thing on Twitter. It's still what everybody in my circles are talking about. Yeah, the slap heard around the world. Really weird. Really fucking weird. Speaking of apologies, and we can talk more about the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. I actually would love to hear from Janine, another woman of color, who said, a Black woman's hair is a big part of our identity and an element we can use to feel beautiful in a world that refuses to see us as such. So I see how alopecia for a bulk woman has another emotional layer, maybe Black woman. Um, yeah, yeah. Then Janine says, but there are other ways to defend your wife, and it feels like maybe deeper things happen were going on. I agree with that. We don't know. Don't necessarily know the full story. As I told you guys last night on the World Girls, my dad's girlfriend, who is all kinds of mixed, has alopecia, and I've watched the struggle. I don't want to air too much of her tea out, but like it's a that is a bitch. Like that the way people are talking about it online, like it's not a serious disease. It really, really like can fuck you up. And the more you stress, the more hair you can lose. And some people go completely bald, and some people lose their eyebrows and their eyelashes. And it has a huge element of trauma to it. And it's like fucking a nightmare. It's a nightmare, and it's so expensive, and um it's real. And so I don't no part of this should be about diminishing alopecia. And I hope that it doesn't turn into that. Luke Nelson says, do you think Will would have had the same reaction if Chris had said Black Panther 2 in the joke instead of G.I. Jane? Um, I don't know. It's hard for me to guess how people could have reacted in these hypotheticals because, again, had you told me this is how it went down, I never would have expected Chris Rock to make that joke. And then I never would have expected um, Will Smith to get up and slap him in the face. So I don't fucking know. I don't I don't think what movie was picked has anything to do with it. I think it was just that he was stabbing fun at his wife, and his wife was affected. But how can I say I would know how somebody would react? I don't think it was about the movie though, because that doesn't seem to make sense to me. So that. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Getting your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts. Would love to hear from you guys. Another apology was made, not by Will, but by Kim Kardashian. For those of you guys who don't give a shit about Kim Kardashian, I think you still care about the fact that this was the #1 trending story of 2 weeks ago when she told women to get up and work. Y'all remember that? She said, women, I have advice for you. Get off your ass and work. I had an issue with the internet's response to this because everybody said she doesn't work, which I don't agree with. But what she said was super, this is what I like to call a twat take. Just such a fucking twat take. There's dong take, there's twat take. And this was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? But now she's apologized, but it's not really why does my internet just start playing those random Apple videos that they send? It's not really a real apology because this is what she said. I'm really sorry if it was received that way. What's up with celebrities not knowing how to apologize? It's like their publicists are telling them, you need to apologize. And they're like, I'm really sorry you felt that way. I'm really sorry, but that's the way it is. I'm really sorry if you took it that way. What? I'm really sorry. It doesn't make sense. She then says it wasn't a blanket statement towards women, but she addressed all women in it. So what? Or to feel like I don't respect the work or think that they don't work hard. It's kind of exactly what you said, though, my dear. A little confusing. Legit what you said. So I don't really understand. She said the advice that I would give is just that having a social media presence and being on a reality show does not mean overnight success. That's her advice now for all women. If you're on a reality show, who are you speaking to anymore? This is the problem sometimes. And I actually like the Kardashians. I know a lot of people don't. I don't watch their show. I never have. But I don't have a problem with them the way a lot of people do. But with celebrity culture in general, people are just so fucking out of touch sometimes that I'm like, who are you talking to? A lot of times when celebrities are apologizing, it's like, who are you speaking to? Or when they're talking, it's like, or giving advice. What? Or they'll be like, my advice is just make your own movie. And it's like, with the $15 an hour we make your own movie? Is that your advice? Like, How is that the advice? And I'm not saying that that's what she said, just celebrities in general. It's like, where the fuck, where is it coming from? I guess today's whole show is about celebrity culture and us just being like, what? Because, like, in the real world, you don't just like, somebody doesn't make a joke and then you like go over to them and slap them. Maybe if they're standing next to you, but that was a long walk up the stage. All of this is like, I'm getting out of here soon. So streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, super chat in. Any last minute questions, comments, concerns about Will Smith and Chris Rock, about the Oscars in general now, if you would like, about Kim Kardashian and her apology, if it was received that way, but that's not how she meant it, apparently. About any of these things, questions, comments, concerns, thoughts. Thanks to my amazing mod, Jake Yakavetta, for putting the Streamlabs link in here. And thank you for all of you guys for being here. I do want to give some more shout outs because I really appreciate it, including Nicole Jones, who says, I'm a Black woman and I found it unnecessary. Black people are used to violent behavior and find it acceptable, and it isn't. Interesting. Glenn Caesar says, sigh, this live chat. I haven't been reading all of it, Glenn. Is it bad today? I trust you, Glenn. What's happening here? What's bad? You tell me. I want to know all the things. So just let me know. Okay. So shout out to all the people, though. Andrew W., Gradania, Vicious Ocean, Glenn Caesar, Neil Handstock, Fillmore Pockets, Mick Loving You Tonight, Jake Yakavetta, Vashna, Nicole Jones, Ben Dover. Oh, Ben Dover, is it your real name, or were you just trying to get me to say Ben Dover? J2 Savvy, Professional Asshole. Yikes. We got some interesting names in the chat. Janine Bryce says, just sad he overshadowed everyone else's moment. After that, including his own, Questlove deserves an apology. I agree with that. And that's why I said I went back and rewatched the Questlove speech, because that was such a big moment and it was so overshadowed and just a total bummer to see what had taken place. And that no people should get their flowers while they're here. And Questlove wasn't able to do that because of what had happened. And it was something that he had nothing to do with and shouldn't have been penalized for. I feel like the Oscars should have taken a second instead of just pushed it. I know the show must go on, but I feel like we should have gone for a minute. There should have been any kind of cut to commercial, or like host coming on stage and being like, what a wild event that was. We still want to make sure that everybody who has been working their whole lives for these moments is honored. So we're going to go to commercial and we'll be back with a new energy, like anything to kind of reset. I missed the whole in memoriam, which is so sad because there's so many people that they honored that had beautiful, beautiful careers. So that's a bummer. I just wasn't able to like snap into it within 2 seconds. I don't think most of us were. All right, guys, I am getting out of here. So thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate you all. Well, I really appreciate 98% of you guys. The ones Glenn doesn't like, I don't like either, because he's the Zen one. And like, we have in here G.I. Jane 2 is the handle of somebody. It's like, come on, y'all, be better than this. Be better than this. I think we can all agree on a couple things. Black women in general deserve to be treated better and don't deserve to be the butt of every joke. Violence should not be the answer to things. It shouldn't be the first instinct. Jokes should not be made about people's health conditions. And the Oscars continue to be an event that needs work. Needs some fucking work. So maybe you don't agree with those things, but those are my thoughts. I will see you guys for the World Girls in an hour and 15 if you are a patron, so that we can talk about everything being in your 30s. And other than that, I will see you guys here live at the Roxy tomorrow. Yep, I will see you guys here tomorrow. And I will see you guys in the World Girls on Wednesday. On Thursday, I'm taping The Big Thing, which I'm excited about. I don't know when that airs, though. Maybe that day. Maybe it's live. I'm not sure. And on Friday, only Stupid Answers with DJ Wooldridge. Plus, I'll be back here a bunch. And on Wednesday, don't forget our episode for the World Girls is our IRL. It's my favorite one yet. It's really fucking good. I hope you guys watch it. It's a lot of fun. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Don't forget to make your bed. It's important. This is how we keep ourselves accountable during this crazy time. Don't trump at the Holocaust. Justice for all the people who have lost their lives due to excessive force. And put down the toilet seat and live. We don't want the perflumes. Oh, Cena Bigelow, I got home just in time. No, Cena, we're leaving. Shit. We'll miss you, though. Much love, friends. Stay safe, stay sane, and I'll see you later.